Football with friends is fun as hell. My name is Alex Dunlap. Oh man, I'm so happy to be with you guys today on a big Wednesday, a victory Wednesday. I realized I realized yesterday when I started the show, I said it was a victory Wednesday. I think it might have thrown Blake off just a little bit. Man, these days kind of begin to roll together here, especially when you have such a big night, right? Like Halloween. Check this out. I got my dad tax from the kids last night. Look at this, the world's greatest candy. I figure if they're gonna be able to eat one piece of candy, I should be able to eat a piece of candy. And if I'm gonna eat a piece of candy, I'm gonna eat the best candy ever invented, which is of course Smarties. Blake, you ought to look up the way that Smarties were invented. They were actually invented as an accident. What a wonderful accident Smarties were. If Halloween was about Smarties and not all these other cockamamie candies and you know worship of the devil in the gruesome underworld, I think I might like it just a little bit better. Oscar Elizondo, he's saying that Smarties are no good. That's not true. So good to see all you guys. Blake May. Money B is in the building for sure. Jay Ward. Hey, Blake, I think that Jay Ward sent us a photo earlier. I didn't get a chance to look at it yet. Let's make sure to get that pulled up unless it's something too cockamamie. Warden, so good to see you, my friend. Let's see. Oh, look at Jay Ward. What is this about? Just sending a photo in? Those are some nice shades.
It's a sweet hat too, right?
Yeah, it's a sweet hat. Nice, man. Jay Ward out. Looks like he's out in the blind doing something. All right, Jay Ward.
He said, wait, hold on. It's been cold enough in Tennessee to break out my lucky Eskimo hat.
All right. Nice, man. It's been cold out here for sure too. Richard Arias, so good to see you. Eric Alvarez, Tej, good to see you. Oscar Elizondo with a rare L here on the Smarties. We're gonna definitely let him get by though. SEC Hookem, so good to see you. Gringo Horn 65, so good to see you guys, man. Thank you all for being here. I'll tell you what. As I got done doing the offensive deep dig today, as usual, I'm just here. I'm just here so I don't get fined. But no, I'm here just as I get done doing it. So I'll be going through some of my thoughts about the offensive line. I will be talking about some of my thoughts about the offense in general. A bunch of you guys had questions about some of the sequences from the game down in the red zone. So I went and took notes on all those things. We'll talk about what broke down. Let's see. We just have a whole show sheet here. A big show here for you guys today. My goodness. So we'll have the offensive stuff, right? Like the red zone stuff I just talked about. Anwar Richardson will join. We'll do rankings with Anwar. That's always fun. We have have you guys seen the college football playoff, the hypothetical 12-team thing that came out today on The Athletic from Stuart Mandel? I can't tell you how cool that would be. I'm so tilted at Texas in this year when it seems like they would be right in the thick of things. It would have an awesome first round projected matchup versus like Ole Miss, and if they win that, they go on. What is it? They go on to play. I'll bring that bracket up earlier, man. Golly, they need to get that thing. I wish that thing was already like that. But look, it's going to be great next season, and hopefully Texas doesn't take too many steps back with all the talent that they're going to be losing, and also, of course, that little thing about going to the SEC. I think that TCU and Texas Tech are playing tonight. So I was looking at Prize Picks earlier, and so we'll put in a prize pick for that. But can that be true, Blake? Can you fact check
TCU and Texas Tech?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So
I don't think so. We have Ball State. Wait, is that right? Is that today or tomorrow?
I was just looking on Prize Picks. Maybe it's tomorrow. It could be a Friday night.
Yeah, tomorrow. Tomorrow is 6.
I said, have we really gotten to the point? Well, no, it says right here, Thursday. Wait, okay.
Correct. Today is Wednesday.
It says Thursday, November. Oh, gosh. I'm still messed up with my days. I thought it was Thursday. Okay. Yeah, so we don't have that tonight. But I
We
still
got
want to
Ball
put
State Bowling Green and Kent State Akron. If you want to play either of those.
Gosh, I just really wanted to play the whole thing about how TCU stinks. Or how Tech stinks, right? Just take all the TCU mores and the Tech lesses, and we're gonna be good with that. I can't believe what happened last night, Blake, with my Costanza play. It was perfect, except for that stupid taco. We did the reverse taco.
Oh, of course. That taco just screws you either way, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just I'm done.
I never
with
play
that.
those. I never play them.
I'm done dealing with the whole Taco Tuesday.
Yeah.
I think that the more I got to thinking about it, as far as taking the taco yesterday on Paul George at 20.5 points, it was down. It was reduced from 24.5. What we did was we took just the regular. We didn't take the taco. We said these tacos aren't hitting, and we said so we should take the regular 24.5, take the less, and he went for 27. The other guy that I said, this looks like it's way too much, so let's bet the more. This looks like it's way too little. Let's bet the less. Those were right on, right? But the dang taco. I think yesterday they wanted to make it not quite as egregious of one because what happened the night before with Jimmy Butler on the reduced play, and everybody thought they're like Prize Picks is out to get us. They're out to get us, right? They said, well, God, we got to give them a better one this time so the masses don't just completely uprise. Look, and people were tilted, and if I was Maalik Murphy, I'd be tilted myself. He didn't all week last week. Do you remember whenever Sark said at his press conference, and he said it even more on Thursday about how one of the things that Maalik Murphy had going for him, it wasn't just the fact that he was the fact that he'd been in the system for a long time. He was super confident. He's got these good players around him. We talked about his perfect setup, right? It was the name of one of the shows. And part of that perfect setup was the fact that Sark said, dude, everybody really likes him, and they're really going to try playing up to him, right? They're going to try and play up to make sure that they elevate his game, right? They didn't. They didn't, man. A lot. He got let down a lot. Jake Majors just back to the drawing board with that guy. Hayden Connor back to the drawing board with that guy. We're all the way back. It was Rice level bad with those two guys, and we're going to talk about exactly what happened. I'll even do like I did yesterday, where I'm not going to bring up those cockamamie drawings, but maybe I can just find something where it just shows a general, like a lineup with an offense and a defense that's lined up against them. I can just show you what happened on some of these plays. What they did even throughout the course of the game. I got to hand credit to Flood and Coach Sark, because once they identified how bad these dudes were getting whooped, they actually started to kind of do some things with some full blocks, some stuff to even try and get them in some better positions. But man, whenever you look at it and you look at it in totality, you realize that, they need to play better. Xavier Worthy needs to play better. How many drops did he have? Was it 4 drops? 3 drops?
Rough. I mean, there are arguments to be made on some of them, whether they're drops or not, like we did earlier in the season, but there are at least 3 passes that he should have caught that were not.
They were drops, and there was one in the end zone. It's just like, I mean, you can't drop those balls. There were 2 that would have been first downs, one that was in the end zone. I don't care what – I'd like to see what Cockamamie PFF says. Like, did they say it was drops? Here, let me pull up PFF, this idiotic site.
While you're pulling that up, we got a super chat from Major Alexander asking what word you used yesterday when you were explaining the drawings.
Cockamamie. I don't know. What were those drawings?
I was trying to remember some of the words we've been looking up. Ostensibly was one of them.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one. Oh, gosh. And that's a super chat? All right, let me pay attention to it. Okay, so a word when I was using for my drawings, I don't remember a word that I used for those drawings. Maybe if you could give us a little bit more context about what I was talking about with the drawings. Oh,
ostensibly, that's what it was.
Okay, yeah, it's a good word. It's a good word. And I'm not saying. I'm just saying. I used it perfect. You know. I'm just
You did.
just
You did.
just
You
just
nailed
saying.
it. I told my wife about that word.
See, you come here, you come here, you learn all kinds of stuff.
That's great.
All right, PFF. Let me just look and see. I'm sure that they don't. So receiving. All right, BYU game receiving. Where's drops? Do they even do drops? Yep, right there at the top. Xavier Worthy 3 drops. They gave him a 43. They gave him a 43.5 receiving grade
I
in this
kind of
game.
agree with Javier here. Ostensibly is a cockamamie word.
Yep. Yeah, it is. I probably shouldn't have ever used it. But yeah, so we're gonna get to all that stuff. We're gonna break it down and talk about what happened, why it happened. I also there was a couple things that we didn't get to yesterday as far as what Chris Kleiman was saying about this Kansas State game. I can't believe it, Blake, that does it feel weird to hear from me that I almost feel coming into this game a little bit more nervous than I was coming into the Oklahoma game?
No, I think it makes sense because the Longhorns are working with a backup quarterback. If this was Quinn, I'd have a completely different feeling about this game. But we have not. The offense really hasn't put 4 quarters together overall all season. But now working with a backup quarterback, it's even. I don't know. It's a scary game. It's a scary game for Texas. And the thing Kansas State has always done well is just not make mistakes. That was Bill Snyder football. They want you to make the mistakes and they'll take advantage of them.
And what he said yesterday, because he was asked like, okay, like how is the run game going to get yards whenever Texas knows that you're going to run, right? Like how's that gonna work? You know, this whole thing about they kind of like you said, they try to play fundamental football. They try to get the blocking and the tackling right, literally, right? Whenever you say and you say in business, it's like before we get to all that, we got to get the blocking and the tackling down. That's just a saying that people can use, but it really is true with these guys. They get the blocking, they get the tackling, they tackle well. We talked about number 50 yesterday, a guy who can really move bodies. And whenever I look at what Kleiman says that they need to be doing, it's the same thing I'm talking about. That it's like he's saying the same things that I keep saying that Texas needs to be doing, right? Like Texas at this point, he's saying
Kleiman's
that
a good coach, man.
right. Well, he's just saying everything that he said, like the kind of stuff that they can't let happen. I'll talk about that in a second, but the stuff that he just said, well, the run, it sets up everything. So he's getting to third and manageable, like I talked about, making sure that you're not behind the chains against these guys is going to be absolutely critical. And that's what he's saying. He's like, we got to keep our offensive play count up. We have to keep their offense on the sidelines. We can't throw 55 times just because we can't run the football. That's not an option. We need 2nd and 5s. We need 2nd and 4s. We cannot be in 3rd and 8. We need the element of the run. We still need it available to us on 3rd down because obviously we keep them off balance, right? That way, if we have the element of the run, we have the element of the pass. We can stay multiple on 3rd down. It's the same things that I'm talking about that Texas really needs to do this week. It's like a Spider-Man meme of what he's saying that they need to do versus what I feel like I've been saying that Texas needs to do, right? It's the other thing that he said that I didn't get to yesterday that I just thought was important was what he talked about with Texas with the whenever they played, like, okay, so whenever we talked a little bit about how they were preparing for Jay Brooks, and then we went off on a tangent about, like, isn't it cool how people are talking about how hard it is to prepare for Jay Brooks and stuff, and we never got to what it was that he had said, like his answer to that question, as usual, because everything went off the rails, but he just said that I wonder if more of the run game, maybe even he's spooked by the RPO game, right? He said that last year they gave up too many 12 to 14 yard throws that were just basically extensions of the run, because what they did was they got 8 up in the box and they tried to make them one dimensional. And Texas is just this Texas team this year. They began to realize it last year, but he realizes even more this year that this Texas team is not a team that you can make one dimensional, which to me gave me a little bit of a kind of saying, oh, okay, well, to be honest, I think he's got the wrong read there. If I were him, I think I would maybe try and load the box up a little bit, just maybe at the very beginning, just to see, if Maalik Murphy is capable of participating in the game with the RPOs attached to those inside runs in the same way that a Quinn Ewers or a same way that somebody that just had a little bit more experience would be able to. I'm not saying to do it for the whole game. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you wouldn't adjust, you wouldn't do the rest, but man, I don't think that coming in and making sure that Texas is going to understand that in the box they're like, no matter what you guys do, we're going to have a numbers advantage on you if you try and run here. No matter what you dial up, you can get that thing dialed up. Somebody asked about it. They were running what do they call it? Somebody called it some kind of like diamond head. I don't even know what it's called.
Oh yeah, formation. It was the 3-back formation.
Yeah, he was just flanked on each side by it was, what was it? It was Brooks, and it was Keelan Robinson, and it was Savion Red back behind him. Even if you wanted to get into something like that with 2 tight ends or something like that, it's like, you would, at that point in time, all they would need to do is that, like, then you just bring the you bring the corners in, and they still have the numbers advantage, because you can't even split those guys out. You can't even pull even anybody out there to even be any kind of overhang. Plus the corners can come in. So there's no way really not to, if they're going to be intent on loading up the box against you. And of course, what's the remedy to that? What's the antidote? Well, of course, just throw it over them. And I mean, right? Say, no, you're not going to load the box on me. Watch this post route to Xavier Worthy. Hopefully he doesn't drop it. Right.
I hate that narrative is back, but it's warranted after that game.
Dude, it was bad. Like, Maalik Murphy needs more help. He needs more help. He needs more help from the offensive line. He needs more help from Xavier Worthy. Jatavion Sanders, he caught some balls that were hero balls, right? Just some where he had to go up for him. He made plays where you could have even been cool with him saying, like, man, that kind of was a little bit high. He had a little too much mustard on that thing. Who knows, right? Like, that was 50-50.
Alex, I think we're going to start seeing more targets for Adonai Mitchell. I think that if that's going to be the guy he connects with consistently, you got to start targeting that guy more.
Yeah, man. It was concerning to see. It was mainly the most concerning to see from the offensive line, and what it was they were doing. I want to tell you something else too. I don't want to hear anybody complain about a lack of holding calls on other offensive lines. Texas held like a bunch of, like, I'm honestly, dude, after this, here's the way I feel about it. And like I said, we're gonna get into the exact details of it. We're gonna get into the deep dig. We're gonna talk about exactly what it was that happened. We're gonna talk about the exact red zone stuff, but just as an overarching kind of theme, right? That I'm worried that the offense there. You can look at it 2 separate ways. You can choose to look at it and say, okay, the Texas offensive line in this game, especially Hayden Conner, especially Jake Majors, played miserably. I think Hayden Conner played his worst game of the year. Jake Majors was pretty close. They were both completely unacceptable. When you see the number of pressures allowed and the run stuffs, mainly the run stuffs and the TFLs, but whenever you see it, it's gonna make your eyes bug out, and it makes my eyes bug out. And I can think about it 2 ways. One, I can say all is lost and the offensive line stinks again, and this is going to be real tough versus K-State, right? On the other hand, I can say, okay, well, they're allowed to have a down game. We talked about how this could be a troublesome spot. We talked about how the big nose tackle, not the number 2 nose tackle, but the big nose tackle for BYU was going to be a hard guy to move. He was. It was something that we could have kind of foreseen. Texas still wins the game 35-6. The fact of the matter was, you have Jake Majors, who's taken a major dive down the historical sheet, right? Last week he was top 10 in snaps per disruption allowed. He's taken a major dive, as you'll see. But he's still on average, he's been good. You look at the offensive line, they've still been good. It's still the best offensive line that I've covered here at Texas, unless they play like this the rest of the season. Maalik Murphy was able to do that despite all that stuff. And here's the thing. If you look at it too, he was able to do what he did despite that stuff, and also despite the fact that it was mainly at the beginning of the game, whenever everything was it didn't just get bad. See how I have it color coded here. Can you guys see this? Okay, so this is just every play, and you see we got some Cole Hudson here. Look at Cole Hudson. Look at how much blue this kid had. He only played 18 snaps, but we'll talk about something that might need to happen with getting Cole Hudson in the game. And let me just say, spoiler alert, it's not going to be for DJ Campbell. Okay. But here, just look at this and look at the beginning of this game. Look at all these reds and look at all the, you know what I'm saying? Hold on, wait. That's actually not right. It isn't quite that bad. Okay. But it still is bad. It is still bad, right? This is not a good start. Blown blocks here that allowed a run stuff, blown blocks here that allowed a pressure, and then another one that allowed a quarterback hit. At the end of that same series, another one that allowed a quarterback hit. A blown block here on a separate play, a blown block here on a separate play, blown block here on a separate play, right? Even whenever there was good blocking here on this one, right? A blown block here on an inside zone. The whole left side of the line here with blown blocks, right? This with just a systemically bad pass play here where Hayden Connor allows the sack. You know,
where's the interception play? Can you find that one on there? The really bad interception. It was an early snap, right? That caught Maalik off guard.
Was that at the end of the second or the end of the first? The end of the second series or the first series?
Let me find it real quick. I think it was the second series, right? It wasn't the first drive, was it?
I think it was I think that was the play that ended the second series.
Yeah. Gosh, that was just such.
And if that's the case,
like there were multiple guys just running free after Maalik.
Yeah. So if that's the case, you had a badly blown block here, a rare one by Kelvin Banks, a blown block here that allowed the quarterback hit. 2 actually that I graded as good from Majors and from DJ Campbell. And then a blown block from, so basically three blown blocks and 2 guys doing their job actually pretty well.
I think Majors might have been the only one that was ready for that play because he snapped that ball just a little bit early on Maalik.
Yeah, man, it's so, and see, as you get down, it starts getting a little bit better, right? You get just an awesome play here from Cole Hudson, an awesome play here from Kelvin Banks, and starting at halftime, gosh, it really doesn't get that much better. It really doesn't. You get better play from Christian Jones outside the horrible pressure that he allowed. Yeah, you still get TFLs and stuff happening here throughout the whole game, man. It's just Maalik Murphy. Whenever we came into last week, we said that he's going to need. Is there a super chat? I'm sorry, I didn't see it. He said we're gonna need him to have the best surrounding cast possible. He's got great skill players. He's got an offensive line that's playing at a high level. He's got everything that you need, right? He's got the confidence of the coaches, the confidence of his team, everything that you would need, right? And it feels like Majors, Hayden Connor, and I'm done. No more. I'm done blaming this stuff on Hayden Connor being hurt because he looked fine versus Houston. I said, all right, that's it. He had the bye week. He's fine, right? If we're just gonna say he's banged up all year, then and we're just gonna say the baseline is that dude being banged up. I mean, look,
Were you seeing the same issue with his? I think it was his left side you were talking about early in the season. Has that returned?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't just that. It was the stuff where it, that was very specific.
Mhm.
That was his left side and outside zone. And this it wasn't just an outside zone. Like I'll go back and see. Maybe let me just look and see. That's actually a good point. Is this only an outside zone that is happening? It doesn't feel like it to me. Okay, so here he allowed to run stuff in inside zone. Here it was just bad in pass pro. Okay, for him this one was bad in pass pro. For him again, bad in pass pro. For him again, bad. It's the pass protection stuff, kind of. This one was a run. This okay. So one outside zone run that was a blown block, which really stinks because Majors had a good block on that play. This was in pass pro. This was in pass pro. This was a TFL and outside zone. You've brought up a good point, Blake. It's back the outside zone stuff to his left. Outside zone to his left, another one. Power here where he was pulling. He missed the block. That's one. Another blown block in inside zone. So 3 out of these bad blown ones. And so in outside zone to his left, he allowed 1 TFL. He had 1 terribly negatively graded play. The other outside, this was a well blocked outside zone, a bad blocked outside zone, a well blocked outside zone, well blocked outside zone. Let me just sort by that. Let me just sort by the run concepts. That'll be easier. Okay, so out of these outside zone concepts, he had 1, 2, 3 that were blow up plays and for a TFL. But it wasn't like it wasn't all bad. I mean, he had these 4 that were blocked well, 5, 6. So out of
Jay Ward commenting, I heard the offensive line got completely chewed out in film after this game. Yeah, I bet. I bet they did.
16 outside zone runs. 1 he allowed. I mean, I don't think no. I think he's playing bad, Blake. It's just it was in pass pro. It was loafing. It was not getting to the second level. It was a lot of trouble, man. And like I said, we'll break down exactly what it was that happened with all these guys. We'll get the board up. We'll talk about it. We'll draw up the plays, especially the ones that were the ones that were the most egregious, and try and say, like, how can we prevent this from happening in the future?
And quick shout out to Warden. Thanks for the $2 super chat. Hook 'em Alex, Blake, and everyone loving this football weather. Me too, man.
Thank you so much, Warden. We definitely appreciate the super chat, brother. Thanks to everybody in the Specs chat line. If you guys could remember to please like and subscribe to the channel, like the show, subscribe to the channel. It is, of course, free. We would certainly appreciate that. But man, we have a lot to talk about. So here's the rundown after we've kind of gotten it out of the way. Just the beginning to setting the table with the fact that Maalik Murphy needs more help. This offensive line played like garbage. Okay, they didn't all play like garbage. The interior played like garbage. Jake Majors and Hayden Connor, they need to play much, much better. Okay, Xavier Worthy needs to be catching footballs. We also need to talk about the fact that Maalik Murphy under center. How often have we seen guys under center this season? That's something new. We could talk about that. Cole Hudson, does he need to enter the starting lineup for Hayden Connor or for Jake Majors possibly? We're gonna talk about that. Kelvin Banks, there's something weird going on with his hips. I don't know what it is. We're going to discuss that. We have Jonte Cook lining up in the slot and taking snaps away from Jordan Whittington. That's a first. Golly, do we have a bunch to get to? It's going to be look. It's going to be fun as hell. But next, this is the most fun. We got Anwar Richardson next.
And Texas has played kind of an uneven brand of football at times. over the course of the month of October, I got to just honestly, like, I can't tell you the game that it's going to happen in, but if they don't start playing more like September brand of football and less like October brand of football, I think there's a possible loss in there for Texas. And, this is a major moment this is a crossroads moment for Steve Sarkisian, because they are on the cusp of really having a great season. It's been a great start. Quite frankly, 7-1 at this point in the year, given how long it's been since they've been with that record, 8 games into the season, an absolute success. But if they fumble it away in these last 4 games, the only thing that people will remember is the fumbling away part. So it is impaired. I mentioned it a week ago. Steve Sarkisian has to be at his best. It is one of the wild cards going into Saturdays. What do you get from this offense? What happens when Sarkisian gets off the script? They're going to probably be really good in the first quarter. And I think one of the keys to this game is getting ahead early on Kansas State and making them play outside of their comfort zone. If Texas can go up 14-0, 14-3, 21-3, like they have each of the last 2 weeks, I think that's exactly what the doctor ordered. But Texas got to play better in the middle of these football games. 2 weeks in a row, they've essentially gone 40 minutes of game time with not good offense. They didn't score at all for 37 minutes of game time against Houston 2 weeks ago. And yesterday or Saturday, 40 minutes, I think it was like 40 minutes and 3 seconds or something like that. Slightly more than 40 minutes where Texas had one offensive possession that ended with a touchdown against a bad defense. They have to play better against Kansas State or they can lose that game.
No matter what you're needing, Specs same-day delivery can save the day with our Specs app or online shopping. From world-class wines to hard-to-find spirits and craft beers to gourmet foods, delicious snacks, and spectacular sweets. It's Specs. Cheers to savings.
Blake!
It's not the smoothest transition.
What you get for going change the title 10 seconds before we're back.
We're trying to run a professional operation around here. I'm trying to, golly, Blake just always screwing everything up, of course. Football with friends is, of course, always fun as hell. So happy to be here. So thankful to Specs for being our great sponsor here on the channel, bringing you guys the Specs chat line. As you guys know, it would not be a show without all our friends here in the chat, and we definitely thank them so very much. Gosh, I need to go. I need to go to Specs after the show. Anwar, I'm all out of tequila.
Yeah. You're out of tequila?
All out. Ran out last night.
What's your? Are you a Blanco guy for tequila?
Reposado.
Okay.
It's a mix, right? The Blanco's like, I mean, if I keep the Blanco around, even though it doesn't, like, I can't keep tequila around here, man. It just goes. But I'd like to say that I like to keep the Blanco around so I can have it. So like I can have it in case anybody wants to make mixed drinks and stuff, you can use it for that, and you don't use the Reposado stuff. But the fact of the matter is, if I had the Blanco here now, I just wouldn't go to the liquor store and I would just drink that tonight instead when I'm making fajitas. And I thought I was gonna get to watch Tech versus TCU because all day yesterday I thought it was Wednesday, all day today I thought it was Thursday. Man, I've been screwing everybody up here in the chat, but yeah, it's been an interesting week. What do you think about this week, man? Are you worried about Kansas State?
Oh yeah.
I am too.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
It's one of those things, Alex, that Texas has been able to get by. So it's a weird thing because sometimes we can nitpick, Texas and nitpick some of the wins that they've occurred, and then at the end of the day, you look at the scoreboard and you say, well, they won, right? And so at the end of the day, you got to tell you something. One, but K-State is it's interesting, because I've talked about this a little bit on my show this morning. The thing about K-State that's different than a lot of these other programs is that K-State's got a little bit of a defense, okay? And I went in when I kind of did a little bit of digging into the numbers. Alex. When K-State switched from a 4-man front to a 3-3-5 alignment in 2021, in the 35 games since then, K-State's allowing an average of 20 points per game of offense since switching to a 3-3-5, which ranks about 15th in the nation within that time frame, in tops in the Big 12. So from a defense, did you grasp all that? Was that too many numbers?
No, no. I mean,
Okay.
I'm just we had a big 3-3-5 talk here on the show yesterday. I
Okay.
don't look, I think it's a fine. That's a very interesting stat though. It's definitely helped him. But Javier Rubio's in here saying Sark's kryptonite. I don't know if that's I've heard that people say that, other people have made that case. I'm not sure that case can be made considering the fact that Steve Sarkisian is Steve Sarkisian and I'm me. And you give me a sheet of paper, and I literally did it yesterday where I drew up a way to beat the 3-3-5 in literally 30 seconds.
Steve Sarkisian's beat it twice already.
Yeah, I don't understand how people say that this is something. It just feels to me like a classic case of correlation causation, right? Like it doesn't. Let's say it's like I talked about. It's like we can get you can do an analysis like when Cody was on here. I was saying like, all right, like why didn't somebody go out and say like, do you know where Steve Sarkisian has had his biggest dips in his quarter? And you can pick out stats of any. You can make a stat of anything. Say Steve Sarkisian's quarterbacks dating back to 2016. So even when he was an offensive coordinator, anytime they were playing a team with a gray, brown, or black stripe down the middle of their helmet, his quarterback ratings have plummeted for any quarterback across all the teams. It's like you can say it. It's like, well, is that why? Or was it like, is it because it was raining outside? Is it because it was so I don't know if this 3-3-5 kryptonite stuff for Sark. It's like there's some people, I get it, that talk about this stuff and people trust them and they feel like that's the case. I don't see how that can possibly be the case. How a coach by now in Sark's career is just flummoxed by this very popular way to run a defense that has he gives you all kinds of little bubbles and areas of opportunity, especially for an advantage throw offense that he's consistently saying is the bedrock of everything that we do offensively. It's like it's built to exploit defenses like the 3-3-5. So I don't understand it. I don't.
Well, the thing is, Alex, I mean, the biggest argument that you can have for what you're saying at this moment, Sark's never lost to Kleiman. So I mean, Kansas State has lost 6 straight games against Texas. Okay, so that means Tom Herman beat 6. Wow. So Tom Herman has beat them every single year, and so even Steve Sarkisian in a 5-win season still beat K-State. So your biggest argument, honestly, Alex, is that he hasn't lost to K-State since he's been here.
Yeah, well, I like that one.
I can simplify it for you, Alex. I'll just simplify it for you.
I honestly do you know what I'm more worried about than the 3-3-5, and this might not even be something that's even right. Maybe you have the numbers on this. I sometimes don't like Texas in these 11 a.m. games. Mm-hmm. Have you ever noticed that at all? Have you ever thought about maybe the team doesn't get up the same way at 11 a.m. as they do at 2:30, 6:30?
I never did that correlation. I'm always so happy that's an 11 a.m. game that I never really think twice about like the results, Alex. I'm just so happy that I'm not going to be in the stadium. I'm sure Blake could attest to it. Like so happy that we actually get done at a decent time that I literally don't think twice about it. I'll be honest with you.
What kind of food do they give you guys at DKR for like a 11 a.m. kind of lunchtime game?
Everything's now Taco Deli.
Oh,
so yeah, so we've got some taco. Blake, by the way, I've given you some stats. If you've got, I DM'd them to you. If you can, I think it might be some cool things to show on the screen. Yeah, they do. So they put Taco Deli in there. So they put usually some of the tacos and then some of the chips in the salsa. And that seems to be the thing of choice. So they put the burners out, and then they kind of roll through that. So yeah, because what was it? It was like a Mexican food place.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's just been so.
Is there a Taco Deli inside the stadium, or is it just like out? Is it?
I believe they're. I don't know what they have to have some sort of partnership, right? In order to be in there. So there's got to be something there. I mean, what you're a Taco Deli guy, Alex? Does that work for you?
I mean, back when I was growing up, it was funny, man. Like, because I grew up in Westlake and down in Spyglass, where they had all a bunch of apartments where my friend Chris lived. It was down there, and it was just in this little tiny little shack of a place next to the convenience store that they had there, that all the people who lived in apartments would just be able to go walk down to. And we'd go there. I'd hang out at his place after school. We'd go down there and buy, like, big gulps and all that stuff. But we always get tacos there. And man, which they have the is it the cowboy taco, the one with steak? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never I didn't see the part, so there's not one that's really close to me. So it's very rare that I actually get to do a Taco Deli.
No, Taco Deli's good, man. And they got those refried black beans. It's good, man. They got the one with just the refried black beans, bacon, avocado. And it's called like the Aldo or something like that, dude. It's
pretty good. I'll say this, and I'm going to show you some numbers for a second. I will say this. When I first moved here, I thought like Torchy's was really good, and then I went to Taco Deli. I was like, oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah,
I like Torchy's will make it work, but Taco Deli is better. So, Alex, you asked me about my worry about like K-State. Let me show you some numbers, and this kind of plays a little bit with what you're talking about. So if you look at the total defense, and Blake has got it on the screen, so thank you so much, Blake. If you look at the total defense and where they're ranked, K-State and Texas, Alex, pretty damn close. If you check that thing out, I mean, as good as you may think that the Texas defense is, I mean, we're only talking about a few yards difference as far as an average is concerned. Now, the thing that you'll notice the most, Alex, if you go over to that K-State side, from the passing yards perspective, that seems to be the kind of the area of weakness. And I'll give you some more stats that will show you that. But when we start talking about like what Maalik Murphy is going to face, it's going to face a pretty damn good defense. And really, and by the way, Iowa State is looming as well, and they have the top defense in the conference as well. Blake, there's another one that's there. You could, whatever order you want to go in, Blake. I've got like 4 others.
Look at Anwar bringing the goods and the content.
So if you look at kind of the passing defense here, Alex, that seems to be a little bit of the kryptonite as far as K-State is concerned. They're ranked 9th in the Big 12. And so that seems to be, if you're looking for Maalik Murphy to have success against this defense, it will have to be through the air because you can see it right now.
They aren't allowing a great completion percentage, though.
You said they are or not?
They're not, right? They're only allowing a 57.9% completion percentage. If we could sort by that, it would be probably the bottom 1, 2, 3, 4, bottom 6.
Yeah, but when they are giving it up, they're clearly giving it up big, right? I mean, at the end of the day, So you're probably right about that. And all the stuff is on CFB stats. This is kind of where I get a lot of my stuff from. There's another one. So that's 2 down. There's another one that Blake is sharing. You look at this, Alex, rushing defense. As much as we want to, talk about Jonathan Brooks, how much we like him, look at where they are from a rushing defense standpoint. Again, as good as Texas is, K-State's not that far behind, Alex. K-State's not that far behind from a defensive perspective. You ask me if I'm worried. Yeah, I mean, they're giving up a $109, at this moment. And so right now you've only given up about 5 touchdowns. Again, not that far off from Texas. We're talking about less than 20 yards as far as Texas is concerned. So rushing defense is really strong for them. There's 2 more categories that I'll throw at you here. What's the other one? What you got for us, Blake? 3rd down conversions. Again, Alex. Again, right there, number 3. Texas is number 1. And look at the conversion percentage, Alex. It's not that far off. It's not that far off from where you're looking at it. So converting on 3rd downs, K-State, if you look at their clip, I mean, they're at like that 28.9%. Texas is at 27.78%. So, they're not giving up a whole lot on 3rd downs. They're a defense that's getting off the field, as well. And then there's the last one that Blake will throw up from a defensive perspective. When you start thinking about the challenge that a Maalik Murphy faces, look at the sack numbers, Alex. Right there towards the top. They're tied again with who? Texas. 19 sacks this season, only one behind, TCU. So it's interesting as you started off talking about the offensive line, and I know there's a lot of things that go into a sack, Alex. It is not just the O-line. But when you start talking about the offensive line, you start talking about Maalik, I guess the bottom line is K-State has a pretty decent defense that's good enough to present a real formidable challenge for Texas. Thank you, Blake, by the way.
Yeah, heavy 7602 is asking, are they playing teams that run the ball well? Or are they playing offenses? I don't have their schedule. I don't know. I mean, I can look at their schedule. Let's just see. He's asking if they played against just bad offenses or whether that's kind of whether those stats are paper tiger stats. So let's just pull up Kansas State's. I mean, we know that they played some bad teams, right? I mean, but
yeah, I mean, they have, but they haven't.
Whenever they played Houston, they sure looked better against Houston than Texas did. Let's see. So they played
Missouri. I mean, they've played, out of conference. They've played Missouri. That was a loss. And the other ones he's talking about, they've played, UCF and Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, TCU, and Houston. So I wouldn't necessarily say that they've played, a really soft schedule.
Yeah, but it's also not a murderer's row because they played teams like Southeastern Missouri State, Troy, UCF just totally stinks. You saw them at the bottom of all of those different statistics that you just showed, right? They were down there with Baylor. We know that Tech's awful, but at least that when they play Tech, that they. I wonder how I'd like to see how they held up against Taj Brooks in that game. Is there?
Yeah, I mean, look, I got the numbers right here.
Tech versus them.
Yeah, you want to know? So in that 38-21 victory, Brooks had 17 carries for 98 yards in a touchdown, and then that was pretty much it. They do finish with a $190 from a rushing perspective, and then both of the quarterbacks combined for about like 298, one touchdown, but 3 interceptions. That happens from there. That's probably ball game. That's all you need at that point.
Yeah. And then they when they played Oak State, they ended up losing in that one. Oh, yes. Chad Gibson, he's saying that Ollie Gordon went to 21 for 136. So look, I buy into it. I'm worried about it. Dude, what I'm most worried about is the kid Avery Johnson. Have you watched any of this quarterback, like the young quarterback?
Oh yeah. He's what. Yeah, I mean, he only scored, he was like Al Bundy and Polk High. Like he scored 5 touchdowns in a game, right? Yeah. How much Al scored, right? 5 touchdowns in a game, something like that.
Yeah, man. It's just like one of the keys I was talking about yesterday was just how Sark talks about these run lanes and this is one where they cannot get whenever they're rushing upfield, they can't get past their depth, right? Mm-hmm. They can't do this stuff like they did versus Dylan Gabriel. It isn't gonna work this week. But I mean, look, there's stuff to worry about on both sides on both sides of the ball. You're not. We'll do predictions, I guess, tomorrow. Yeah. Are you still waffling on a prediction?
No, I'm probably gonna predict Texas, Alex, but I feel like in that prediction, I'm going to give Texas the benefit of the doubt because if I just went off and factoring in, the thing is, Alex, Maalik Murphy didn't have to win the game for Texas last week. So the errors that he committed were somewhat forgivable, right? Because the defense played well. They were able to score, when they needed to score, but the defense plays well enough to score 6 points. But, if a K-State offense can put up some numbers and start making this thing interesting, we don't know what Maalik Murphy can really do in a close game. We don't know what that looks like for him. There's still growing pains. Like, just think of what Quinn looked like through some of his growing pains. And so I can't just automatically check the box and say, I know Maalik is going to do X and Texas will be fine.
He needs more help. He needs more help. He Xavier Worthy can't be dropping 3-4 balls. Yeah, Jake Majors and Hayden Connor simply can't play like they did. Let me ask you this just real quick, and then I'm going to ask you a couple questions for my rankings with on.
Oh yeah, okay, cool.
Okay. Do you what do you on just a percentage chance? What's the percentage chance that Kyle Flood, after seeing last week's game, and just let me just tell you, I know you clearly, no one did watch the offensive line as close as I did.
No one watches it like you, Alex.
But Flood does, and he knows he like to. And I always say, to say that he's forgotten more than I'll ever know about this stuff is an insult to him. Like he's like I don't know 1/20th of what he's forgotten about offensive line play. But what would you put the chances that we could see Cole Hudson come in after playing well? Cole Hudson played objectively well last week whenever he was mixing in with DJ Campbell. DJ Campbell played just fine. It was a raging mess from Majors and Connor. What do you think the chances are that they would actually put one of those guys, like they would supplant one of those guys, Majors or Connor, knowing how you kind of knowing how this team is, knowing that that's probably something that they don't want to do, knowing that they're going to say they're perfectly happy with their guys, and any one time could be a blip. But Cole Hudson's kind of one of their guys too, and he's having to be a backup right now. What would you be the chances on of maybe this next week Cole Hudson maybe getting to at least rotate in with one of those other guys that's not DJ Campbell?
I mean, I guess my question, my answer is a question, because I just want to see if you know the answer, because I don't know. So there's nothing like try to battle wits. How often have we seen a guy that in since Sark's taken over that, or been the coach here, that started off on the bench and emerged into like a starter or more of a contributor throughout the season
on the offensive line,
or go just about any position?
Well, I mean, on the offensive line, you could think last year about DJ Campbell, because I know Cole Hudson got hurt at the end of the season, but they were starting to play DJ Campbell over Cole Hudson.
Non-injury. I mean, non-injury related.
But they were starting to, but they were starting that, and it was in the game whenever they finally gave DJ Campbell the majority of the reps. That like late in that game, Cole Hudson got hurt. So I think that was one. Oh yeah, Darwin Lemon makes the perfect point. Anthony Hill, he's like David Benda's his backup now.
Yeah. I mean, he hasn't officially started in a game, right? So, but he's received a lot of playing time.
Did he start last?
I don't think he started.
Let me just make sure.
He played 75% of snaps last week, though, compared to Benda.
He actually did start. He actually did start versus BYU.
Okay.
Yep.
So,
but the thing about that, and I'll put a caveat there for you, is that they were in a sub package because they didn't have their buck in because Ethan Burke was hurt, right? And so Anthony Hill was always playing in the sub packages. And so when they came in, they're like, all right, we're just in a sub package. David, it's like, David, it's okay. It's okay. We're in sub package. He's not starting over you. But then they get out of sub package and Anthony Hill stays in. And at that point, it's harder to tell Dave Benda that he's not the backup, especially when he's in on the final series, like looking over his buddy Leongo Lafau. And it's like, it kind of feels like he's the backup. So
it's a good question. It's a good question. Well, because what I was trying to get at, Alex, was trying to get to understand like how often does Sark, because Sark usually prides himself, Alex, and I know the offensive line rotation is a little bit different, but he usually prides himself in saying he plays a lot of different people. And so like usually when you get into like starters and stuff like that, it becomes a little bit of a wordplay, situation there. So that's why I was kind of asking, like, I just wanted to refresh my memory as like how often that seems to happen. I mean, honestly, when it comes to the offensive line, like I would have to defer to you for what you're seeing, what your eyes kind of saw on there, because I think you would have a better idea. I probably have a better idea from some skill positions, things to that effect, but I won't. If I stay in my lane as relates to offensive line, I'd have to defer to you.
Yeah. Well, to me, it's not. To me, it's not a matter of whether they. It's just a matter of how you. It's just a matter of how you think the coaches think. And I think that they think.
I think they're stubborn sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I think too. So I don't think that there's a good chance, but I'm going to make a case for it. Here in the next segment about how just maybe they should just give this a try if this is going to continue, and maybe it's just a blip. But it was a rough game from those guys, and I know that it doesn't take somebody spending 15 hours 18 hours watching the game and charting all the plays to know that there were some big blow ups that really hurt.
Stubbornness, Alice goes to, getting on a goal line and, running one play 4 straight times.
Man, Maalik Agbo too, this guy.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about them all. Okay. All right. Rankings with Onwar. Here we go.
Right,
speaking of offensive line, here we go.
All
And
right.
you guys know how rankings with Onwar works.
Mm-hmm.
He gets 3 things and he has to rank them. All right.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay.
Zach Shackelford,
Okay.
Junior Angelau, Derek Kerstetter.
That's
a good one, huh?
Oh man. Okay. So do I get to factor in Junior's injury at all into my
Sure.
decision?
Yeah. You can take everything into consideration here.
I'm going to go. You might surprise you. I'm gonna go Shackelford, Angelau, Kerstetter.
Okay, that's interesting. I
would think so. Here's why I go Shackelford, because I know he was at least a 2-time like all Big 12 selection guy. 4-year starter at center.
They were all starters from their true freshman seasons on. That's why I kind of put them in the same bucket and wanted you to rank them.
Yeah. But I think Shackelford. I don't know what Junior's been done with since he's transferred in. But and again, you have the numbers to probably say who was probably more effective out of the 3, as far as your stuff is concerned. But I go Shackelford, Angelau, and Kerstetter. What's your order?
It's tough. It's tough for me.
It's a tough question.
I think at the height of his power. I think at the height of his powers, I think Junior Angelau was probably the best out of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm unlike you. I think I put Shaq at to me, it's a question of Kerstetter versus Angelau. And for the Kerstetter versus Angelau thing, I only say it because Kerstetter played literally. Did he ever play at left tackle? No. But he did play 4 different positions on the offensive line. A lot of versatility. Played for 4 seasons. They always moved him around. He's actually on an NFL practice squad. I don't think is Shaq still on the Bucs practice. I don't think.
I think that was like he was just. I don't think he made it past training camp, if I'm correct.
Yeah, well, it was one of those things. Well, I think he made it past training camp, but I think it was one of those things where he was like wave injured after a couple of weeks, or they had to make room for some other dude. So Kerstetter's at least still, I believe he's still on the Bills practice squad. He turned out to be a pretty good player, so I think I would have him in consideration.
That's a good one.
Number 2.
That's a tough one. That was tough. That was tough.
I got some other tough ones here.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, there's another sports related one related to Texas. I'm going to save that one for the end. Let's get into some. Okay, have I asked you this one about states to live in?
No, I don't think so.
States to live in: Texas, Michigan, Florida.
All right. Well, I already know what's number 3 because I've lived in all 3 of them. All right. So this is okay. Texas, Michigan, and Florida. And we're talking. See, this makes it interesting because we're talking states and not cities.
Yeah, states. We're not talking Austin. We're talking Texas. We're not talking wherever you come from. Where do you come from, Florida? Tampa?
Yeah.
Sarasota?
So
God, I love Sarasota, Florida, man. That's where Byron lives. It's so great.
Oh God, he lives in Sarasota? That's not.
Yeah, he lives on Longboat Key.
So this is where I'm leaning. First of all, Michigan's 3. So let's just start there. So okay. I'm going Texas, Florida, Michigan at this moment. So I think that the deceiving part about Florida is that you like the beaches, right? But you've got to go to opposite ends of the state to find the best beaches. Like you got to go all the way up to Destin to either find like a really beautiful beach, or you got to go way down south, that maybe it's South Florida or Key West or something like that, to find like, again, really good quality beaches. Outside of that, they've got some good ones that you can do.
Sarasota's beaches are beautiful, right?
Sarasota has a nice beach. But I like Destin better if I'm being quite honest with you.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I like Destin's a little bit better. But then I got to deal. But the problem in Florida is I got to deal with the hurricanes. you know, and that's kind of problematic. I have to deal with crazy people. I mean, like Florida's known for our crazies, and we got a lot of freaking crazy people. And that's Texas has crime as well, but I can find Austin I can find. I don't know what big city in Florida that you could probably say is not like a ton of crime, right? If I say Miami, you're gonna have crime. You're gonna have crime in Tampa. You know, you're gonna have crime in Fort Lauderdale, Jacksonville. Like I can say Austin and be like, oh, as long as I stay away from 6th Street, like I'm probably gonna be all right. So, so yeah, and then Texas, I would say I'm gonna go Texas. I'm gonna go Texas.
Love to hear it. All right. Well,
Yeah, Texas for me.
Right.
Michigan, I can't. Michigan is just too cold. It's just too cold all year long. I can't deal with that.
This is one that I didn't get to ask you before, but after you got off, I asked the chat because I thought it was so good and it caused a major firestorm in the chat. Okay, rank these TV shows.
Ooh,
Breaking Bad.
Oh damn.
Simpsons and Jackass.
Oh my God, that is interesting. Well, I mean, all right. Well, I think it's simple. I mean, actually, I don't think this one. I think it's simple. Simpsons number 1, Breaking Bad number 2, and Jackass number 3.
Okay, so all right. So I just said I thought because to me Jackass is the funniest show of all time. You might not think so. I think Simpsons is so good because it's like the longest. What was it, like the longest running TV show or something like that?
Yeah,
it's been a fixture. It's always been so hilarious. And then with Breaking Bad, it was just so awesome. You know what I mean? It was just so addicting and awesome. It's super hard. I don't know how I would go. I don't know how I would even go ahead and rank them.
I went Simpsons because of the longevity. I mean, I feel like it's been around since I was young, and still goes. Breaking Bad because it was a fantastic series. And one thing for me with Jackass, after a while, Alex, it kind of got repetitive, and then I felt like the movies were kind of like the same after a while, and I mean it was some crazy stuff. Who was a dude that started that thing? The skinny guy that was really
Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah, Johnny Knoxville. Like he was on top and while, and then who was the little guy? What was his name?
Evo.
Yeah.
Or do you mean Wee Man?
Yeah, the little person. I don't know.
Wee Man.
PC.
Wee Man.
I mean, all those guys were like pretty good, but it's more like Jerky Boys, kind of frat boyish, kind of silliness, and
so good.
You know, brothers don't really be messing around with that stuff.
Okay, is that the deal?
It's kind of cultural. Like, what the hell those boys over there doing, man? You know, we're like, those boys over there crazy, man. So there's a little difference when we just look at you like, what in the hell are they running from a bull? Like, ain't that some shit? Look at them boys over there. A little bit different. We just view it a little bit differently.
Okay, all right.
Crazy shit.
All right, just three more super quick ones. Okay, food poisoning, flu, COVID.
Oh, this is easy. I mean,
and you got to rank them from
flu and COVID, somewhat similar,
and rank them from best to worst.
Oh, you mean the best to have?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Oh well, hell. All right. Shit. Oh, I thought it was the worst to have.
Or you can rank them worst to best. It's fine. Just as long as we understand.
Okay. All right. Let me do it. The worst thing to have is food poisoning. So that would be what I'd have first on my list. I would say second would be the flu. Mm-hmm. Third would be COVID, because you can have it and not even know you have it. Right. So like, you can be, I got COVID. Like, I don't know. Like, the best way to not get COVID, don't get tested. So you never get COVID. You never know if you have it or not. But the food poisoning, when that thing is coming out of both ends, that thing is just death, man. Like,
it's
that is
very bad.
It's let me tell you, one time This is horrible. So one time I was with my oldest son's mom when we were together, and we were going on a trip to New York, right? And I caught food poisoning like the night before. And dude, I'm just it's coming out at every hole at that point, right? We got to get on the next morning, right? So then I'm able to hold it just a little, get to the airport again, just unloading, right? Then get to go, and of course I'm on the plane, still having an uncomfortable time. And then, as you know, Alex, then you land, and then the wait starts, right? And that's what happened. The wait started, like we landed, and then all of a sudden, everyone takes a while. Takes from row 1 to row 20. It's another like 10 minutes. Dude, I had to go. I didn't make it all the way, man. Didn't make it all the way to the bathroom, man.
Oh, you got to be kidding me.
I didn't make it all the way, dude. I made it as far as I could, and I just
I don't think close counts in that situation on War. I'm not sure that close counts.
It's horrible.
I got close to the bathroom.
It didn't count. It didn't count. So I had to throw away my underwear in the bathroom, and then I had to try to like clean out what I had. So I was like, let me just walk it out in this whole thing. So I was just like clean the inside. And then I was just like, I was miserable. I was miserable.
Okay.
Food poisoning is horrible.
It is horrible, but at least you get rid of it like within, usually like 18 hours. Sometimes that flu will stick with you for 36, 48 hours.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Okay. Two more.
Okay.
Rank these in the order that you'd like to have them. If you're stuck on a desert island, there is fresh water available on this desert island. Okay. And coconuts, but it's completely deserted otherwise. Okay.
But I gotta climb a tree to get the coconuts. But okay, yes, sure.
Flint, hatchet, clothing, including shoes.
Oh, so a flint, hatchet, you said?
Flint is one. Hatchet is another, and the other is a bundle of clothing, which includes shoes.
Oh. Huh. That's a fascinating one. Yep. Because first and foremost, let me check something. I think so. Give me the clothes first and foremost. I want to be able to survive. Okay. So give me the clothes. Then give me the hatchet, and then give me the flip.
Okay, but the clothes first and foremost.
Yeah, I want to be. I can't have like the bug. I'm a little pretty boy. I can't have the bugs. Like tearing me up like that. Like that'd be horrible.
You got a hatchet. You can just go to the palm tree and cut some stuff off the side, like wrap it around your feet, put it around. Okay. I mean the hatchet is the hatchet is the block for me. You can make fire with the hatchet. Okay.
I'm not going to be able to do all that, Alex. I'm going to be a vegetarian on this island. Okay. I know my strengths. I know my weaknesses, and I can tell you that I'm not going to be able to survive long. So give me some nice clothes to die in is what I prefer to have.
All right. Final one on War. Once again, thanks so much for coming on. I hate to, gosh.
Of course, I'm having fun.
I've kept you a little bit long here.
You're good.
All right.
My son is not here today, so I've got plenty of time. I don't have to get on to practice today, so you're more than good.
Cool. Okay. Best place in Austin. Speaking of sports, right?
Ooh, okay.
Best place in Austin to watch a sporting event or in the Austin area.
Okay.
Rank these: DKR, Moody, and wherever the Austin F. What is that? Q2.
Yeah. The Q2 stadium.
Yep.
Interesting, because I go to Q2 a lot. I was just at Moody on Monday watching the exhibition game, and then of course DKR as well. So I guess for me, Alex, I know it's gonna sound a little weird. I'm gonna go Q2
as number one.
At number 1,
Is it nice?
I'm gonna go Moody, and I'm gonna go DKR. Now, here's
God.
why.
Oh God.
I know. Not yet, but I have an explanation why that
Okay.
I think when I explain it, it'll make logical sense.
All right.
When I go to DKR, I go as a reporter, not a fan. So I can't root for the team. I can't cheer for the team. I'm sitting in a press box. It's a sterile environment, and so all I'm doing is watching and analyzing. I've never gone to DKR as a fan, right? And so because I can't do that, I don't know what that experience really is like. And I'll never have that experience as long as I cover the team. So I can also go to Moody and enjoy myself, like the basketball game. I took my son, on Monday, and he was able to like really, really enjoy himself, really, really get into it. And then I was able to kind of have that moment with him. And then for me, so then the Q2, first of all, love the stadium, love that stadium. Love it's beautiful inside there. Love the concession stands. You got great seats. It's a great environment that's in there. Like TV doesn't know justice, but you got basically like a band in one of the sections playing all throughout the game. It just never stops. There's different chants that just never stop outside of halftime, and so it's such a fun environment. And I'm telling you, I wasn't a soccer guy. So this is all brand new. I love going to the games. So, and I get to, I get a chance to be a fan, which I don't never get. I know that's the thing. It's the thing that gets the missing from my life, and is why I like soccer, because it's actually get to enjoy something. I did the NFL for so many years, never really got a chance to be a fan of a team, in the NFL. So now I just watch it because there's a good game on. I watch it for fantasy purposes. I don't watch it because I actually like a team. College football, I like to watch it because there's good games. But it's funny, I was telling someone this. So I was just having a conversation with somebody about this week. But it's like I've never really have gotten a chance to really go to like a college game or a pro game as a fan and like do tailgating. Do you like to drink beers or drink and have tailgate food? Like I've seen it. I know OB we had a tailgate. But I didn't have to go to work, so like that QT is the closest I've been, honestly, and I can't tell you decades of actually being a fan of a team and actually being able to support it.
Oh, there you go. So that's Onwar saying Q2 is a better place to watch sports than DKR.
I just gave you a hell of an explanation. I just gave you a long-winded, heartfelt explanation as to like.
He even talked about, I got to do it with my kid, and then we got to have some fun together, and all the rest of it. It's like, oh, yeah. All right, Onwar.
Onwar. That's some BS, Alex. That's some BS. That's what I get for getting your name earlier. So here's that.
you can listen to Onwar every morning. It starts at 8 a.m. right here on the channel. As always, make sure to subscribe to the channel. You'll get alerted to that. The Old Fashioned Sports Show. I'm on there once a week, man. He's got a bunch of different guests. Onwar's a lot better at booking guests than I am, dude. I feel like
3 hours. I need to book somebody, Alex. Shoot.
I just feel like, to me, I'm like, would you rather just sit down? Would you rather just sit down and talk about this stupid deep dig stuff for 15 minutes, or would you rather go to the trouble to like bug everybody you know about coming and being a guest? And sometimes I just land on the easier one. So regardless, man, it's always a lot of fun, man. Thanks so much for coming on.
All right, no problem. You got a super chat in there, so go for it.
Okay. Cool, brother. I will see you soon enough. All right, we'll get to that super chat. Oh gosh, and it's thanks so much to Onwar. Again, you can hear his show 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. every day here on the channel. You can always find it by subscribing to the channel, and you'll get alerts for all of them. Right? It keeps you just by subscribing. It's completely free, right? And it keeps you up to date with everything that you need to know about what's going on with the channel. It will alert you to important things, a lot like Val Garcia at Valen Realty. And you know what Val does for you is completely free too, just like subscribing here to the channel. It's look at Val Garcia. Goodness, just popping out of nowhere with a big smile. That's the smile of a man who knows he's going to save you money, and he's going to sell your house for free. If you work in education, if you work in the ministries, there's no better place to go than ValenRealty.com or calling Val Garcia at 469-647-8729. But it's not just if you work in education or you work in the ministries, right? He will sell your house for half price if you just tell him that you heard about Valen Realty on Football with Friends. So that's literally 5, 10, 15, 20, 25,000 extra dollars. Look at Val. He's gonna give it to you. That's the smile of a man who's going to hand you a big cashier's check that's going to be able to bring some really fun things into your life. You know, we're talking about this. It's going to be enough money to go buy a boat. And all you're doing is working with the best of the best in the DFW area. He's top 25%. He's got 14 different agents working underneath him across all points of DFW, everything from Burleson up to Frisco to who knows where else. Like I don't even know. There are too many little areas of Dallas that I can't even. Blake, what's an area of Dallas?
Carrollton.
If you're in Carrollton,
Plano.
look, he's your guy. Or Highland Park, where Matthew Stafford's from. Not that his family would ever need to get 1.5% off of their transaction fee, but you do, and anybody in DFW who you know does. Call Val Garcia, 469-647-8729, or find our guy, one of us. He's here watching the show. He's in the chat, ValenRealty.com. All right. Thanks so much to Anwar for coming on, giving his great rankings, saying that DKR is a horrible place to watch a football game. Golly, my gosh. He's going to hear more about that one.
I thought the Moody Center was going to be first because that is a phenomenal venue.
It sure is a great place to go see Pearl Jam.
I bet it was.
Look at these horrible deep dig grades.
Oh no.
Look at this.
Oh no, you're going to make us look at these?
Offensive line grades by week. Here we go. I don't have the name written in here because it might as well.
Oh, yikes.
Here we go. We have the worst game of the season for Hayden Connor, and that even counts the Rice game where he scored a 73.96, 73.14. For those who just need an update on what the grading scale looks like, that is down here. Unacceptable. Like the scale, it's hard for the scale to go much, much lower than this, right?
Have you ever seen a grade lower than that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. 60s?
Yeah, I think Cameron Hughes one time got like Cameron Hughes just like cranked out a 69 or something once. I think recently the worst. I think Tristan Nicholson might have had a 71 in one game, something like that. 73 is utterly terrible, right? So this right here, 75 and up, anything here in this kind of 76 up to 79 range. If the whole team plays like that, right? If the whole team plays like that, just like it says, they're over the course of the game, they're not going to experience any detriment to the offensive game plan. It means that if the whole team plays like that, if all five play like that, it means that your weakest link is playing above baseline competency, right? And that's what you're going for. So we have here Kelvin Banks played a game at just kind of below his season average, a 78.45, still good, but we've still yet to break the old 80 for Kelvin Banks this year. Something I believe when we looked at that the other day, Blake, he did three or four different times last year. Mm-hmm. He's running out of time to get it done this year. And one of the things I'll say about Banks is that I've finally identified it. I've finally cracked the code on what it is. And it has to do in his pass set where he's just not keeping his hip pointers upfield quite enough. He's allowing, if you guys might have noticed how Kelvin Banks is making Maalik Murphy and Quinn Ewers just a little bit nervous at times with not necessarily a pressure, but these things where he does do what, say, Oklahoma was doing to Texas, what I worry that K-State hopefully does not do against Texas as far as the offensive tackles when facing off against Barron Sorrell or Jet Bush or Anthony Hill or whoever it is that they have lined up on the edges now that the Buck end is kind of out of the picture, unless we see more Jamon Tapp in this game, which certainly could happen. What I worry about is them just getting past their depth, right? And at least Kelvin Banks is riding these guys a little bit past their depth, but sometimes it's close, and he doesn't get a bad grade for that, but he doesn't necessarily get a good grade for that, right? It's a baseline competency grade because it does affect the quarterback a small bit. He's got to step up in the pocket a small little bit. he's not stonewalling them like he used to. He just I think that's what it is in pass pro. He's still doing fine. He's not allowing that much disruption. As far as the disruption allowed here in this game, it is Kelvin Banks had 59 snaps. He allowed 1 run stuff, 1 TFL. He did have 2 knockdowns, but when we talk about keeping the hip pointers upfield, so with Kelvin Banks, it's his plant foot's his right foot, his kick foot is his left foot, right? Whenever he takes that first kick back, what he's doing is his hips are getting a little bit pointed at a 45-degree angle toward the sideline. And what that can do is that can lead to something. Once he comes into engagement, it's a lot easier for his body to kind of flow with a guy like this and lose a little bit of control. Whereas whenever you take your initial step back, when you get forward, your hip pointers, your hip pointers are these things that are on. You guys know what your hip pointers are, don't you? Do I need to explain? It's like these little things that are on the front of your hips, right? They need to be pointed upfield, and the reason is when you get back and they're pointed upfield, it's like whenever the guy, if a guy's kind of coming outside speed to you, you can continue moving back, right, to get to his depth.
Stay square to the guy the whole way back.
Yes, because if he wants to convert that outside speed over here, come inside versus power, right? You have this hip which is square, and you have this hip which is squared where you can use this hand to be able to counter the inside power move, right? Whenever you get your hips out of whack like this, you get unwieldy for one, and for two, you have the ability to kind of have to ride these guys back there. And like I said, it's not the typical pressure. It's technically fine, but it's not stonewalling a dude and just stopping him right there and getting your hands inside and just like, making him wave the white flag, rendering him useless. We saw that a lot more out of Kelvin last year. And at this point, people at the beginning of the season asked me, they're like, Alex, is it a sophomore slump for Kelvin Banks? And I'm like, well, no, you can't call it a sophomore slump because he's still, look at the average grade. He's still got the best average grade on the whole team. I'd be interested to even see what his average grade was last year. It's like, what was his average last year? Deep Dig 2022. Hold on. It's one of the best average, a 78, almost a 79 average grade is great. All right. So, but last year his average grade was a 79.59. What is it this year? 78.76. It's a little bit of a difference, man. A little bit of a difference whenever you consider that the grading scale here, and it's formulated in this way over the years to where it's pretty, it's pretty dialed in with, the margins aren't that big for making big differences, right? And the grading scale, it's like 79.59 is up here where players in this area are likely NFL draft prospects. 78.5 is just the best of the best as far as guys who are playing way above baseline competency. So look, it's not to freak out about Kelvin Banks that he's not, he's still playing way above baseline competency. But I will say at this point, I'd always said, man, these 80 games this year, like those are coming. Those are coming, right? They're going to have to come. Clearly he's not going to, it's not like he's digressed from last year. He looks like he's leaner. He's certainly stronger. He's had a year in the offseason program. But I don't know if it's going to be I don't know if he's going to finish this year with a bunch of 80s and stuff like that.
I agree 100% with what Hacker's saying here. I think we look back at that Rice game and the freak out that happened afterwards. Like, look at these grades. Oh my gosh, what a terrible. At least we've seen that these guys can bounce back with a great performance.
Yeah,
be happy that this performance happened against BYU and not against Kansas State.
Well, and that's a good point that Hacker has. And we forgot to get to Homeboy's super chat. So let's get to it. But Blake, that's a good point because it honestly, you felt like it came at just the worst time because it came coming into it's like this happened versus Rice. What the hell is going to happen versus Alabama?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But it came at the right time because it exposed some issues that they were able to get together, and then they were phenomenal against Alabama.
Chris Haywood, thank you so much for the super chat, brother. I'm sorry. I had it pulled up and I just kind of forgot about it and started talking about Kelvin Banks. Look, man, NATO looks like a good prospect, but putting him in right now over any of these guys, it's not gonna. That's not gonna get it done. He hasn't been good this year. If you look at the snaps per disruption allowed, NATO has played 25 snaps at left guard this year. He's allowed three run stuffs on 25 snaps versus backups. He's allowed three run stuffs. Look, I mean, you can see here. It's
we don't have the window pulled up at the moment. There you go.
So you can see how the snaps per disruption now is kind of everyone took a big dive here. Jake Majors took the biggest dive. We'll pull up the historical sheet here in a little while. It's just show you why it's not doom and gloom. The team still looks good. The offensive line still looks like it's all in very good company. It does not look as elite after this game as it did after this last game because it was 58 snaps where Jake Majors and Hayden Connor just played terribly. Cole Hudson is all of a sudden down here after adding on 18 snaps in this game. He's up at 30.5. He's up here kind of where Jake Majors is, right? He's played, he's allowed one pressure and one TFL so far in this season when he's been kind of playing a little bit banged up, a little bit hurt. But see NATO Omiozolo down here. And why is his name pronounced Omiozolo whenever it's
Yamuzolo? Yamuzolo is actually how you say it. Yeah.
But why Zolo?
I don't know. That's just what it is. I know he's got his little brother who's a Texas commit as well. So I've been trying to learn the name.
Yeah.
Muzolo.
He's not, he's not. Man. Also, there was some stuff with him. I would have to look back and see. Let me just look at the spring game. I felt like there was some stuff in the spring game that was worrisome. Hold on, spring game deep dig data. Let me just look. So NATO, he would have been with the. I forgot, what is the offense white or what was it, white or black or what is it, orange? Okay, so what is NATO is NATO 73? No. What is NATO? 72. He's got to be 72, right? Spring game 72. So how did he do in this? How did he do in the spring game? So in the spring game, he allowed one run stuff. He allowed one pressure. So not too bad on how many snaps total. So 56 total snaps. So he only in that game allowed pressure, or allowed a disruption once every 28 snaps. So that's good. I thought he might have had a few more run stuffs and stuff like that in that game. And that was going up against some of Texas's starters. So, we're drawing from the spring game. Whenever we have actual snaps, we have how many snaps I showed you that we actually have on him this year that just had 25 snaps that just things haven't gone well for him. So, yeah.
It would be a bit much to throw him in at this point with the schedule remaining. It's not like you have a Rice or a game where you could get him some extra snaps to see if he's figured it out. But
yeah, man, it was like you can't like that's not the correct answer. I think the correct answer has to do with Cole Hudson. It could have to do in a perfect world, it would have to do with Cam Williams. It's probably not going to. None of it's going to matter. Let's talk about what happened in the red zone. All right. And let's do that next.
The thing about that season, so you guys had a bye week.
Yes.
In between that game and playing, ironically, Chad, at Rice after a week off.
We played Penn State. Won, of course. No one thought we could. On the road in Happy Valley. Had a bye week. Everybody thought we were all a patch on the back and you're great and this and that. And then we play Colorado and that occurs. And then we have a bye week after that too.
Yep. Y'all went bye week to start the season.
Ridiculous. Yeah. So we had to wait another week. Then we played Rice, and that fueled us though the rest of the season, man.
So how did y'all do it? That's the question I wanted to ask. Was you said you guys had the hangover after that Colorado game, but then y'all come back and basically didn't lose the rest of the season until you get to the bowl game. Right? So what happens after a disappointing loss that lets you know you're back and not still hungover? When does the hangover end? When did it end?
Speaking personally, that's when you have to do the self-reflection. Each guy has to go in and do that deliberation. Did I do my best, or where do I need to get better? And to have 2 weeks to think about that. After 2 weeks of being told you're the greatest and Texas is back and yada, 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 after winning at Happy Valley, they're ranked, you're not. And then it reverses. You did a complete 180. Now you're sulking for 2 weeks and you're chomping at the bit to get back out there, but you have to wait. So just personally, you rededicate yourself. That's what you do. You rededicate yourself. You endeavor to make up for the mistakes, to get in that film room. I'm going to work a little bit harder. I'm going to lift those weights a little bit longer. And that's what you have to do. And it's difficult. Now they've had to sit there for 2 weeks and think about the mistakes. And when they're little bitty mistakes that shouldn't occur, that's what eats at you. That's one thing if the team is that much better than you. But they're not. Oklahoma wasn't. And Colorado wasn't that much better than them. We just made the mistakes where they didn't. So you have to. One of my favorite quotes, Socrates, or Socrates, as we say in Texas, a life not self-examined is a life not worth living. Do that self-deliberation, man. You gotta sit there and reflect on your play and what type of player you want to be moving forward. And that was the fuel to and the catalyst to get us moving back in the right direction.
Oh, yes. Football with friends is fun as hell. My name is Alex Dunlap. Man, so happy to be here with you guys today. If you could please remember to like the show and subscribe to the channel, we would most certainly appreciate that. Again, man, it's just it's a pleasure to have you guys here, and certainly a pleasure to hold on. Let me send my wife a voice text real quick. If you're by Specs, can you pick me up some tequila? Okay. We'll see if she can do it. That way,
I'm gonna have to run by Specs too. I got to pick something up. We got some big baseball games coming up. Hopefully, just one. But
thank you. All right, look at that. I got some tequila coming. All right, I'm gonna need it, man. I got fajitas on the grill for.
Oh, we gotta have tequila. Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was Thursday. I thought I was gonna get to watch TCU Texas Tech, to watch two future opponents. Man, it was gonna be awesome. I had it all.
You
planned
will.
out.
Tomorrow.
Now what do I gotta watch? What'd you say? Liberty versus Chattanooga State or something?
The World Series. Come on.
Oh, gosh, come on. What game is it tonight?
It's game 5. The Rangers are up 3-1.
Is there any baseball with friends that we can do? Do you have any hot takes tonight about pitchers?
I'm not jinxing anything, Alex, tonight. They have a chance to win the World Series, so I'm not predicting anything.
All right. I'm sure that my wife will want to watch that too, man. She loves.
What about this? I think Cody's right. Greatest metal band ever. What do you think? Alpha Rev?
Dude, it was so funny, man. The other night I was just listening to some music as I was going to bed, right? So from forgot I was listening to like Fleet Foxes or something like this, and like an Alpha Rev song came up from the new Morning record that I hadn't heard in forever. And I just heard it. I'm like, oh my God, dude, that was a jam. I couldn't believe it. I mean, it's true. I mean, we worked with David Kahn did that record, and just thinking back is like, you know, this guy's offered me the opportunity to record the bass on Paul McCartney's bass that he has there in New York at Avatar Studios. It's just like, just crazy, man. But definitely, hey, not a great metal band. Not a great metal.
I don't know. Look at them.
Look at us. Look at us. What man. What a bunch of studs. Oh yeah, man. All right.
There's probably people in the chat who don't know this about you, by the way.
Yeah, probably. Who knows?
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. Well, I started a fantasy football company from a tour bus. Isn't that wild? Okay.
Amazing.
So all right. So in the red zone. Okay, so there were two different times in the red zone, right? Twice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there was the one at the end of the third quarter. So it was an outside zone right with a pin and pull fold block, with Campbell, and Majors. Okay, so what is a pin and pull fold block? This is what they did. And look, I'm going to share this thing. It's gonna look a little bit cockamamie. Okay, hold on, wait. Can people see this?
Yeah.
Okay, this is not how Texas would ever line up. Okay, like even though Maalik Murphy, I can't believe it on the play.
Texas does not run this formation.
Yeah, they don't.
Decades.
They don't have Alex Delatorre right here, you know. But we for the sake of this, we can definitely do it like this, right? So what it was so it's an outside zone, right? And these guys take this kind of zone angle. The halfbacks here, he's gonna take an angle like this, right? Whenever you had on that first play, it was so Campbell and Majors, it was a pin and pull, but it wasn't like a systemic pin and pull across the whole thing. What I think it was is by this point in the game, Flood had realized that he'd realized that well, for one, this was a Savion Red play, I think, right? This was a Savion Red play. Okay. By this point, Flood had realized that whenever somebody was either of Jake Majors' outside eyes, even if he was getting help to start, he was just having trouble. He was allowing the penetration up his play side shoulder, especially in outside zone. And so what they did here, since he was technically the man who was covered, do you see where my cursor is?
Mm-hmm.
What they did is they just had DJ Campbell make a nice pin block. You know, he would pin down, and then Majors would just pull around here, right? Okay. So they did that. You had the tackle here that blocked out. Like they actually created a little bit of nice space, right? Savion Red goes forward, gets like 3 yards, right? They go next on the next play on second down. It's a inside zone left on the 4, I guess, and so it said the line got good push. Jones fell off his block, but that did not affect the play. Hold on, what did I have here? Red Rider 4 is never going to hand it off. Oh, okay. So if it's inside zone left, right? It said Jones fell off his block, but didn't affect the. No, it wasn't Jones. It was Kelvin Banks. It was Kelvin Banks who fell off his block on inside zone. This play was never going to get done. On this play too, Maalik Agbo was right here, right? And what ended up happening was one of the linebackers comes down here like Kelvin Banks moves his guy off like this, right? How did they do this? Didn't affect the play. Two linebackers filled behind him with Ag. Oh no! Okay, I know exactly what this was. This was another. So pretend there's a tight end right here. Okay, Agbo's supposed to come down like this. It was another pin pull kind of game, right? So you had Agbo come down on this guy. This guy took him on, leveraged his inside shoulder. Agbo falls down and backwards this way. Okay. You got Kelvin Banks who's off here. He eventually falls off his block. But what happened is once Agbo loses leverage here and falls backward, not only does it mess things up here for where he's trying to go with his inside zone angle, but it also creates all this extra space for these two linebackers to spill over right here. This thing was never going to happen. But Maalik Agbo was the main issue with that one. Okay. All right. We get to third down. Now we're back to Maalik Murphy at quarterback. They're in 12 personnel. It's Baxter in the backfield. And basically what happened here is Christian Jones just gave up a horrible pressure, right? Christian Jones, the pressure just comes up right here. It gets right to Maalik Murphy. That was the one where he throws it over here to Adonai Mitchell, and Adonai's never going to catch it. Okay? Fourth down, they go to 11 personnel. Once again, still CJ Baxter. The blocking was fine from the offensive line, right? It was just a quick pass play. And what it was, do you guys remember, was just this little pop pass right over here to JT Sanders. Jordan Whittington's right up here. He's getting a stock block on right at the goal line against homeboy. JT Sanders catches it. It's a little bit of a tall pass. He catches it. He turns upfield. He gets to the corner of the end zone, and homeboy from BYU just made the ultimate hustle play. He got off of he got off of Jay Witt's stock block. He made the tackle. It's like that. You can't stop a really good play like that from happening. It's just like the guy made a good play. Give him credit for making a good play. What was most disappointing to me was those first kind of Savion Red plays, the stuff that happened with the busts from, even with the fact that they were counting for, like, Flood did it right. He's like, man, I know Majors is going to get pushed back right here in this spot. If this is the play call, we need to have something on. We have some kind of pin pull game. We're going to figure it out to where we're not going to allow that penetration here in this spot. And even in doing so, you have an issue where Red, he made a good decisive cut. I feel like he could have gotten in the box with a little bit more leg drive, but the play with Agbo, that just can't happen. Agbo, man, Agbo had a couple busts in this game. He also had a penalty in this game
Is there someone that could fill that role that you would choose?
Andre Carrick is he available?
That's Carrick's role
from Tennessee.
Gone, so
yeah, no, I don't know. People talk about Cam Williams.
I've seen Cam Williams in the chat. Yeah,
I don't know. We keep talking about Majors, and we keep talking about. We should finally just talk about that. There's another red zone thing that I can break down if we have time, but that was the red zone one where Jay Brooks on the 3rd and 12 got down and almost scored, and they had the 4th and 1. We can break down those plays.
Man, God forbid Texas ends up a yard short on a massive play. Like, they get down to the 1, and you just go, oh no.
I mean,
please get in the end zone.
Yeah. What happened there on that one was that it was another one where Agbo just got earholed inside. He just did. For the life of me, man, I can't understand how this guy's an offensive lineman. He's constantly getting earholed and falling down and messing things up. He should. I mean, if he can't get pushed, that's one thing. It's another thing to get completely twisted around and like thrown backwards. It wasn't just him though. It was also that Connor. He gave it was Connor. It was Connor and Banks. They did that full block game like we talked about earlier. That was the one that just hurt them. That was just the one that hurt the most. That was an easy lead play to the left. You got Byron Murphy in there. They got the full block on the side. They got that game on. It's perfect. Everything's going to be just fine. You have everything covered. And basically the same thing happens as I was describing in that second Savion Red play, because those are similar plays, right? With all the guys in the backfield and the 3 tight end set. Regardless, disappointing red zone stuff. Like, how about this? Maybe do something. Maybe don't make the formation so tight down there. Things get tight enough. People get tight enough, and like the spaces get too tight, constricted down in the red zone anyway. Why not kind of spread things out a little bit, man? Make them cover every blade of grass. Texas has all these athletes.
Well, we mentioned this on House Divided today. We were talking about the whip routes that Worthy and Mitchell have been known to run over the past few years, and I haven't seen that once this season. If you can get them on, spread them out, get one of them man on man, run one of those whip routes to the corner. Let's see what happens.
Yep. Okay, so what did Jake Majors do in this game? Jake Majors, oh gosh, 59 snaps, allowed 2 run stuffs, 2 TFLs, and 1 quarterback pressure. 1 knockdown, deep dig grade of 74.55. Hayden Connor, 59 snaps, allowed 2 quarterback hits, 1 quarterback sack, 1 run stuff, and 1 TFL. On 59 snaps. He did have 2 knockdowns. But man, it's just it's brutal to look at. I feel the same way that I felt after the Rice game, where we kind of came in and had a hard talk, and I was like, well, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what to tell you. If they play like this, things aren't going to go well. They just aren't. They can't play like this. We're looking now at the grades per week. So it was Jake. Clearly, it's like bright red. You get down games from all the from these three guys, and a relative down game from Kelvin Banks and DJ Campbell's the only one that's playing above expectation. And all you're not gonna have a good day because DJ Campbell, even when he plays above expectation, still usually allows some kind of disruption. He didn't this week. No disruption. Here's the thing about DJ Campbell that's great. He only played 41 snaps because Cole Hudson did come in for 18 snaps. He didn't allow any disruption on 41 snaps, and so if you look at his snaps per disruption now after this last game, his snaps per disruption is now up here above DJ Campbell's now above Jake Majors. So this has happened, and Jake Majors is still in this fine area, right? 28 snaps per disruption allowed, 27.
But look at the drop from last week.
I know. That's what happens when you allow 5 different acts of disruption.
And Hayden Connor dropped, but he only dropped a little bit because he was already not very good.
Yeah. Here's how the historical comparison looks now versus all the others. So you still have two guys top 5 and top 7, and Christian Jones and now Kelvin Banks. But
you still got 2 badass tackles that you can trust. But the interior is just worrisome.
Hold on one second. I might have put this in. Did I not put this in yet? Hold on. Because the snaps per production by week. Oh, wait, that's defense. What am I doing here? Snaps per disruption. Oh, well, snaps per disruption. So Kelvin's actually sitting at 40.77. So I updated the number of snaps. I didn't update this. So it's actually more like this. So you have 2 guys in the top 10 still.
Just drops right out of the top 10. Yeah. They had 3 guys in the top 10. Was it last week or the week before?
Yeah. He's still top 10 because it starts at 2, right?
Oh, right.
But because the top one is just like a frozen row.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, 2 who are in the top 10. And then now you have DJ Campbell top 20. But then Jake Majors falls out of the top 10 historically down here to number 26 overall. And 26 overall is not bad. I mean, this thing goes for 73 guys. Hayden Connor still at least is, he's out of this. But can you believe I can't believe it every week when we talk about this. DJ Campbell started out down here. And now he's up here. He's playing awesome, right? He's really, if you look at the snaps per disruption allowed by week, it's been a really good journey here for it. Has he gone up in every single week? No, he went down a tiny bit versus OU, but other than that, it's been 11.2 to 18 to 19.9 to 24.38 to 30.67 to 29.42, 31.04 to 34.07.
That's what you expect to see when you have a phenomenal recruit in his second year under a good coach. He's getting better. He's getting better, and he's going to be great next year. Another year in the system with Flood.
So the deep dig grading system technically only works once these players get to once they play 20 snaps, right? It's 20 snaps that has to work. It has to be 20 snaps for it to work. Okay. Generally, guys always play 20 snaps. Unfortunately, in this game, I really wanted to see what Cole Hudson's grade would be, but he only played 18 snaps. So for posterity's sake, I can't give him a grade on the game because it wouldn't be fair to anybody else that maybe played 19 snaps, 18 snaps. And the reason is because once he gets to 20, with the way that the algorithm works that creates the grade, once it gets to 20, that's the point wherever it is to where when the grades get subtracted and minused and all the rest from it, the sample size is large enough to where it's not going to be like, you get massive points for good plays or massive negative points for bad plays, right? If somebody only played 20 plays and on those plays they allowed like 2 sacks, they would score like a 65 or something, but they could play the rest of the game after that if they had the opportunity and like not allow anything, and they'd have a perfectly, probably a bad game if they
have to draw the line at some number of snaps. Like
right. And
just be open-ended.
Well, right, but there's also a denominator an important denominator in the algorithm is 20, and that's the reason why the singular input for the number of it just has to be 20 for it to really work. But you can see where I can tell you what his grade would be if I put him through the deep dig score, even though you're not supposed to. Do you know what Cole Hudson would have scored in this game? Any
I
guesses?
I don't know what he would have.
It's good. Do you just have a guess, like a good, like a really good game?
19 snaps, so like 78.
80.44.
Ooh.
So he played really, really well, allowed no disruption. He's now played 60. How many snaps on the season? He's now played on the season. And look, you're talking to a guy who screamed, and like I screamed it all last year. I said, how can you play this guy over DJ Campbell? I don't understand it. Like, how can you do it? And by the end of the season, I'm not saying, I'm just saying, by the end of the season, they were trying to get DJ Campbell in over this guy. I've been the most critical of Cole Hudson of anybody. I think that the idea of playing Cole Hudson over DJ Campbell last year was the one thing where I said, man, it's the one thing with Coach Flood that I don't get. I don't understand it. But at this point, I'm gonna trust Coach Flood like I trust him with the 2023 recruiting class that I didn't necessarily like. It's fine, right? I trust Coach Flood more than I trust my own eyeballs. I just do. Coach Flood's that good. But Cole Hudson, maybe he was on to, like, Cole Hudson's now played 61 snaps. Soon he's going to be out of this reserves thing, and he's going to be up here with the rest of these guys, and he's going to be right here with Jake Majors and DJ Campbell, and way, way, way above Hayden Connor. This is not a meaningless sample size at this point. 61 snaps is getting up close to the 100 threshold to be considered technically a guy that's starter level. And so I'm not sure that the leash should be extra long for Majors and for Connor if they go out and they start doing this stuff again next week, especially not versus this number 99 for Kansas State, man. Not versus this guy. What do we got here as far as
we got a picture from Blake May. Some ducks.
Woo, Blake May! Look at them ducks. Look at the oh gosh, that's a Blake May. Did you eat all those ducks?
Look at the variety.
Oh yeah, I like the dude. Look at the one up. That's a fake. That's got to be a fake one up top with that super blue wing. That's a decoy.
Oh,
look at that thing.
Yeah, the top.
It's like, oh my god, look at that beautiful coloring on that bird. But no, man, that's a haul of them. What do you do, man? Peking duck with all those things?
He says, yes, we eat.
Is it Peking duck? What kind of ducks do you make, man? Look, dude, it looks good.
Mojo.
Looks good. Mojo duck. Okay, I'll look that up. I'm not much of a duck hunter. I'm not much of one. Sam, man, thank you so much, brother. Thank you so, dude. This would not be a show without you guys. So it's like that's it. So back to what I was saying. So it shouldn't be. I don't think that these guys, especially against number 99, man, that big nose tackle for Kansas State, Uso Solimala or whatever. That guy's, gosh, I'm so bad with the Tongan names. They just, some of them don't. They just some
Umiazolo, isn't it?
Umiazolo. That's probably not Tongan. You know, I'm bad with Liunga Lafau. I just don't see where the G is in his name. Stuff like that. But anyway, 99.
I got the pronunciation. Hold on one second. We can try this.
For Uso?
I think it's just Sayamalo.
Uso Sayamalo. Yeah, well, just remember his name because he's gonna be head up on Jake Majors, and he's gonna be more trouble than the other dude that looked a lot like him this week because this dude's 340 pounds, right? Uso Sayamalo. Yeah, Uso Sayamalo. And even if he can handle him, man, we got number 41 that's right there behind him. This is a tackle for a loss machine. They can't play like this. They can't do it. And maybe me coming on here and just yelling about it and saying, you know, Cole Hudson or this, like thinking it's just like thinking about something to fix this interior. And thank goodness it's not 3 guys on the interior right now, like it was, right? Craig Simlinger, no, he's not quite another Tavondre Sweat because he's not as disruptive. He doesn't move as well. I don't know of another Tavondre Sweat, but he's big.
He's hard to move.
He's like an anvil in the middle of that thing, and he just keeps that number 41 so clean, right? And if number 41 comes so clean and he jacks up Hayden Connor or does any of this stuff, spills over the top, it's gonna be a hard task to be able to take those 2 guys as far as your two inside guys if you're going to be running to the left. Look at this
is
man.
the challenge.
Yeah.
This is the
tough
end
challenge, man. It's tough, dude. And
big
just,
dude with big hair.
just seeing the way that they played last week, he's
6'3", 340, by the way.
Yeah. So even size-wise, Craig, he's not quite like him. I mean, Tavondre is like 365. It's just he's a unicorn, a complete and total unicorn, for sure. We got any prize picks stuff before we get out of here? I think we've kind of
throw something together.
So here's the final deal with the offensive line. Christian Jones played fine. He's had 2 kind of down games. Kelvin Banks plays just fine. A small bit of a down game for him. We've identified a small issue with his hip pointers. Keep an eye on that in this next game. Just see if he's being square whenever he takes his drop. It's a simple thing that you can just watch as somebody casually watching the football game. Watch the interior and the left side. Watch Jake Majors. Watch Hayden Connor. See if they get any games going with this pin and pull stuff that we talked about earlier to make sure that it's not just one half of a man, Jake Majors, taking on a slanting number 99, because that's just not going to go well. They're going to need to figure something out to do. They're going to need to figure something out, man. And it's not going to be Cole Hudson because they're so comfortable with the Majors and they're going to do a big game. And you got Maalik Murphy to deal with. He's not going to take snaps from some new center. It's just that's not going to happen. So, maybe at left guard it could happen. Maybe Hayden Connor looks so bad because he's banged up. Maybe they say like, hey, Hayden, maybe like this week we'll use you if there's an emergency, but that was tough last week. We're going to get Cole in at the left guard. Maybe that could be good. Cole Hudson's playing better than he is right now. So that's where we are with the offensive line. Oh, and DJ Campbell's playing his best football, which is good. It's great.
It's
so
great. Absolutely.
It feels a lot like post-Rice, right? And post-Rice we had Alabama, and that was great. And that they're going to be up for this game. So that's where we are with that stuff. Okay, so let's see about any. So you said that there's some kind of, what do we have? Some kind of football game tonight, Blake?
There's some minor college football games on.
Do you even know who the teams are?
It was Kent State, Akron, right? Was one of them. Let me pull it up.
Kent State versus Akron.
Yep. Kent State, Akron, and Ball State versus Bowling Green.
Well, let's just kind of look at some of these and see and do the old Costanza with it, right?
Yeah, we need to keep rolling the Costanza and see if we can hit some of these. I think you got to do a flex play with the Costanza, though.
Oh, all like 6 of them?
Because Costanza is bound to miss one.
Okay, well, here's the thing. This Ball State quarterback is scheduled to throw for 122 passing yards. That seems far too low to me.
So 122.
So maybe we should go under.
He's never hit it.
He's never hit it. Is he a backup? Is he a backup that's getting the start today?
Okay. I'm going to pull this guy up. What's his name? Kiel Kelly?
Kiel Kelly. Kiael Kelly. Hey, usually Money B knows about some of these small school scrubs. Do we know anything about anything about this guy, Kiel Kelly? Cody feels like everyone's dauber's down. Need a jolt of energy. Second highest ranked one-loss team in the country without Quinn. The committee respects Maalik. Hey, look, I'm not saying it doesn't, Cody. I'm just saying that it was a bad showing from the interior of the offensive line. Maalik needs more help than that. He needs more help. He deserves better.
Okay, here's the game log for Kyle Kelly or Kiel Kelly, however you say it.
Does he just run? Gosh, this guy's not. He doesn't throw the ball at all. Does he just run? Oh, so he just runs.
He carries it. I don't understand. Like, I'm guessing he's not this. He can't be the starting quarterback, right?
I don't know.
He has 1 completion, 3 completion, and 1 completion.
Yeah.
So obviously they have another quarterback they've been using, but he has been.
But wait, if he's going to get the start, what is his rush? Oh, well, he's going to rush for more than 66.5 yards, right? So take the less.
Yeah. Yeah, I would do the rushing yards.
Oh gosh, but I can't take the less. He's going to get more. Right?
No, I would take the more on the rushing yards.
Yeah,
let's work Costanza-ing it.
All right, well, so let's see if there's any Ball State receivers here. Okay, so he's going less, right?
Oh, it's bad when Money B doesn't even know the guys.
This guy's going less.
We might as well be picking esports on this.
Oh gosh,
League of Legends or something.
He might not go less than 15.5. He said like a 17 point. No, this guy's going less. This guy's going more.
Cody says these a-holes have 3 quarterbacks between 45 and 95 pass attempts.
Okay, we got to pick one other guy. So this dude, Austin Osborne, is 22.5 receiving yards. I mean, doesn't that seem too low? This guy's 28.5 seems too low. So if it seems too low, why not just take the less, right? See if we make a quick two honey here on these fools.
Oh man!
All right, there we go.
What is that guy's name?
I don't know. We're just gonna hope to win $200. All right. So anyway, man, thanks to everybody for joining us today. We're here every day.
Fade all those.
Tomorrow, I guess we'll have our keys to victory. Oh, we'll have Sark's availability tomorrow. Hopefully, that's going to answer a lot of questions. That'll take up most of the show. We'll also talk about our final keys to victory. I'm going to do a lot more scouting and watching of K-State. We still have K-State to go, guys. We have football to go.
Oh, Alex, I don't know if you've even seen this in the Slack channel, but we have lined up the Pint House meetup for this weekend. I want to throw this graphic up there. I don't even know if you can make it, but it's Friday, November 3rd, this Friday, 6 to 9 at Pint House Brewing.
Yeah, I'll let you know about that. That depends on what time the wife gets. I got kids. It's enough of a deal to get the kids. It just depends on if the kids are going to be there. But I'll see.
Either way, a bunch of the rest of the OB crew is going to be out there. It'd be a good time.
Yeah.
Well,
sure.
if the Rangers go to Game 6, we'll have TVs and stuff. Great food. Great
cool.
So
all right, there we go. Orange Bloods meetup. Of course, please like the show, subscribe to the channel. We have the Outsiders tonight. Thank you, Sandman.
Who's on the Outsiders?
9 p.m. Central.
Michael Griffin tonight.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well,
Tune in 9:00.
Golly, what a bunch of good guests they get lined up on that show. Our guys, Bo, Chance Mock, all the rest of them. Listen, guys, we can't thank you enough for being here. As always, we love you. It would not be a show without you. For Blake, I'm Alex. We're done.